It is. And I think like it also boils down to is we sometimes get stuck in
Yes,
our own
yes.
minds, right? Where we think we're the only ones that know what's best, that nobody else knows better than
Mm-hmm.
us. And sometimes the most critical and most crucial point is having that input from another individual, or a different strategy of taking the next step is sometimes the crucial step in ordering being successful. It's not always about being
Mm-hmm.
solely independent.
That's very true. Very true.
How do you try to implement that for yourself, even for like your own marketing and for your
I
own
have
work?
I was doing everything myself for a long time. And that's why I speak from experience. And I was wearing myself out. So I had to finally invest in myself, invest in my time, invest in my well being to get some help. But then, even when I got the help, I was still like, I don't think I was giving them enough work because I was still trying to hold things myself. And I was saying things like, well, they're not going to do it the way I need it done. So let me just do this. I'll have them do something else. And then it got to the point where I felt like I was paying people to wait for me to tell them to do something. So I had to learn to let go of some things. So now, even though I still do a lot myself, I depend on my assistants to do a lot for me. And I cannot believe, as busy as I am right now with assistance, I can't believe I was doing all of that myself. So it feels better knowing that I can go on vacation or I can take a nap or I can get something else done and I can depend on my assistants. For instance, today I had a couple of things I needed to email off and I needed to do those myself. But while I was doing that, my assistant updated my website for me. I didn't have to worry about that. My other assistant already set up my podcast for Monday. I don't have to worry about that. All I have to do is just show up, and that's been super helpful because I have a day job. There have been some times where I've gotten home in just enough time to log in, but my assistant had everything handled for me. So all I had to do was just say, "Hi, guest. How are you? Let's get started."
It's so. I've talked about this before. Like I'm in the automotive industry besides doing podcasting, and I work I work with
Mm-hmm.
BMW currently, and it's hilarious because you'd think a brand like BMW, is high end luxury, is really trying to be able to create a certain type of image, right? And they they tend to be extremely slow when it comes to management in the sense of where they're run by these large corporations, but just to speak to somebody is like it's like a needle in the haystack. It's like they don't know what emails are. They don't know what voicemails are. There's like one service manager for like 60 employees. I kid you not. It's
Yeah.
like I'm like sitting there and I'm like, you're running a luxury brand over here. Like have some representation. But the truth though, some of the commitment that comes in with the team effort and the working together, because it's not just management, it's also collaboration. It's where you have all different people doing different tasks and
Mm-hmm.
different jobs working together to make a seamless process. That's what I think that gets forgotten. It's not about having a team, it's not about having assistants. It's about having that form of collaboration with like even your assistant where she immediately knows what
Yes.
you need and vice versa. And it's not like I need you to do this specifically. I need to give you a grocery list. I need to give you like there's that open line of communication that's already
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. And but it takes being able to communicate ahead of time. The reason why they're able to do as much as they do for me is because I've been communicating. I've been letting them know this is what I have on my plate. And there have been some times where I've said, "Hey Vic, I have to do this, and this," and he'll be like, "I can take care of that, that, and that," and I'm like, "Oh, great! I don't have to worry about that," and I don't have to worry about it because now there's a level of trust to where I know what his capabilities are, and I know what I can give him, and I know what's going to be done right. And then even if I have to make a correction, I can
Yeah.
just make that correction one time and he's automatically fixed it for me, and I don't have to keep going back and forth with him.
I think I think something that is so critical and so important, and I've talked about this so many times, is the understanding that the key to success is not in a page or in a life coach manuscript. A lot of the times is figuring out those tools for yourself, building and adapting, and understanding that failure does not mean that you're failing. It means that you have to take a
Hmm.
different approach. You know, I don't, you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that there's one right solution to success for any type of
Yeah,
artistry that you're into, with it, whether it be, writing or journaling or television or film. Like, there isn't. It's customized depending on the individual.
I agree.
How do you how do you approach that?
Um, I guess it's really just having a conversation. Knowing what that person can achieve, or what are they capable of doing, and what can I teach them. And I think that sometimes people are afraid to ask for help because they don't have time to teach, or they feel they don't have time to teach. But if you have somebody who's willing to learn and you already know their capabilities, you can teach them one time and they're going to get it. So I had an assistant once. It seemed like nothing I gave this person was done right. Even if I gave detailed instruction, it still wasn't done right. And I wanted to help this person so badly. I wanted to be that person who can mentor this person, but it got to the point where like I'm going to have to let this person go because I'm spending more time correcting your mistakes than I am working on my other projects, and it's not a help anymore. It's actually a hindrance. So sometimes you just have to know when to let go.
Yeah. I think also what sometimes comes into is almost a level of arrogance, where people feel this level of, I deserve to have
Oh
this.
yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, I put my, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna talk out, but like I've had even in my own class with people that are in BMW that they feel that they deserve to make $150,000 a year. They deserve to be working on $250,000 cars. They deserve, and it's like, you don't deserve anything. You're lucky if anybody even gives you a job. Okay, it's just, I think that's something that gets lost a lot of the times, especially now. Like, we think that, oh, well, there's social media and more things are recorded and more people are open. But I think it's also that double edged sword of where you're not showing the
Right.
other side. You're not showing of how to get there or how did you get there. Yeah. You've been, I from your expression, I could tell you've already run into quite a number
I
of these
have.
people
I
already.
have.
You have. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey, I've
yeah.
been a leader for a long time, so I definitely have seen a lot.
How do you usually How do you usually deal with that? I mean, do you usually just walk away or you try to
I
have a
do. I do
conversation
try
with
to
the
have a
person?
conversation. And sometimes I think that people have blind spots. It's not even so much that they feel they deserve something, it's just that they think they're doing a great job. They think that they have it all together. And then you have to show examples of where they fell short. And I had a conversation like this not too long ago with someone. And this person thought that they had it all together, and that basically any shortcomings was somebody else's fault, not their fault. And I had to show them examples
Of course.
of where they fell short. I had to show them examples of where I had to continue to make corrections. And since we've had that conversation, things have gotten better. So hopefully it stays that way. Yeah.
You hope. You pray. Oh, God. I think also, and I've noticed this too, where you have a lot of the times that people they put themselves into romantic relationships and they invest so much time of themselves into these relationships instead of allowing themselves to work and pursue on either their writing or whatever creative endeavors. I'm going to use fancy English right now, creative endeavors that they want to pursue. And like you said before, they get blindsided where you can invest in another individual, but I think in the long shot, wouldn't the other person appreciate you investing in yourself
Hmm.
too? You know, that kind of gets lost a lot of times
It
in the
does,
mix, doesn't it?
but that's why I said you have to know when to, like Kenny Rogers said way back in the day, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, know when to walk away and know when to run.
Oh my God. I know there's some people you're just like, you've been together for how many years? Don't put a ring on that finger. I don't care. Like, that's $5,000 you're putting down. Oh, luck. But what I was gonna, what wanted to venture off to, because something we did talk about the last time we had a conversation in
Hmm.
regards to your writing. And you've said that you've had a lot of different approaches and been, trying to carve out the best way that you can continue to be able to be the
Right.
best type of writer. How would you how would you put that for yourself? Because I know that, every single author and writer has their own direction and their own approach. How do you see it?
Um, I'm I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but I think I do. Are you talking about just how I approach writing and how I'm honest with myself on where I can improve and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of it is
Yeah.
not being afraid to ask questions. Um, I don't mind if I, well, there's two parts of it. One part is I think sometimes I know I have, and I've seen it. I've been on both sides of the spectrum where there were some times where I felt like nobody was a better writer than I was, and I didn't need to ask any questions. And then there were other times where I felt like, oh, that person's a way better writer than me. I don't want to show them my writing. I don't feel worthy. I've been on both sides of that spectrum. I think the key is to have confidence in your work, but at the same time, know where you can improve. Know where you can fix things. And I know I'm a pretty good writer. I've been writing for a very long time, but it doesn't mean that I know everything. So in order for me to stay on top of my game, I have to take courses. I have to ask people questions. I have to listen to podcasts where people are talking about the art of writing. I have to read books that talk about effective fiction writing, and I've done all of that. And I do, and in fact, I just got off of a webinar right before I called that was talking about being an entrepreneur or an authorpreneur is what they call it, an authorpreneur, how you can set up your book to be your business. But I need those things. And I think some people shy away from it because they're thinking they don't want to spend that extra money, which I totally understand. We're in an economy right now where you have to watch every dollar. But there are so many free options out there or low cost options. I mean, from me myself, I offer a school community for only $10 a month, where we're going to be talking about improving your writing. We're going to talk about using AI tools. I'm giving them access to my resource center because I truly, not just because I want to make a dollar, which of course everybody does, but yeah, but at
Yeah,
the
of
same time,
course.
I want to see better writing in our industry because there are young people who are learning how to read and learning how to write by reading our stuff. And if we don't put our best foot forward with our stuff, we are negatively affecting the next generation of writers. And I think that that's something that we have to take seriously.
Yeah, we do. And you touch on something that's very that's very critical right now. And the truth is, unfortunately, in the U.S., when it comes to education, we don't have very good education. We're really not setting up kids for a very bright future. And what I've personally been seeing, and I'd love to hear from what you've been seeing for yourself, a lot of these kids, especially, going through elementary school and now going through high school, they venture out getting their information from other places. They don't even bother to care about their own school. They're trying to venture out to even people such as yourself that are authors and writers and creating career paths and your own coaching program, and just being able to get your word out where, like you said, they're able to sit down, read your work, get inspired, have an influence, and then build from there, and
Right.
I, I think it speaks for our own times is if you can't give the next generation the right approach to a future, they're not going to look at the experts or the teachers or the educators as the one to give them that future. They're going to look at the artists and the creative people in those sectors that's what they want to pursue so that they can get there eventually or figure out where they want to be at once they finish high school and once they start entering these
Yeah,
courses.
I agree with that. And I think that, first of all, there is this huge unfounded notion that we don't have to go to college. That, college is a waste of money. And I can learn everything I need by watching YouTube or figuring it out. And what sometimes people fail to realize is that some of the people who you're following on YouTube, they went to college. That's how they learned this. Second of all, these jobs that you want, these six-figure jobs that you feel that you deserve, they want you to have a college education. They are requiring bachelor's degrees and master's degrees before they even hire you. So you have to look at what is it that you want in life. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to go to college. There are people out there who are doing very well without going to college, but they need to be looked at as the exception and not the rule. And if they look
Yeah.
at them as the exception and not the rule, and then look at their own situation, think about what it is they're trying to reach, what goals are they trying to reach, and how does a college education play into that. But it is a very, very dangerous trend going around telling people they don't need to go to college, and that's not true. There are many people out there who
No.
really need that college education. They need to be positioned in such a way to where they're going to be able to get everything that they need, even if they don't wind up pursuing what they studied in school. My daughter studied theater arts, but she's not an actress today. Today, she works for the federal government. But that college education that she got, first of all, she got that college education without spending a whole lot of money. She doesn't have a whole lot of college debt. Second of all, that college education taught her how to position herself for a job interview. It taught her the history of the industry that she was trying to get into, and many of those things is not something that you're going to find just by trying to figure it out. And now, since she's graduated from college, no matter what job she's gone after, whether it was a teaching job, whether it's a federal job, which she has now, she's gotten every job that she's ever applied for because she learned all of these skills in school. It's not just about the major that you have in school, it's about all of the other skills that you pick up along the way.
Yeah. And you touch on something that's really true. And again, even touching to your own daughter, it's being able to figure out what works for you. And I think this is something that we touched on from the very beginning of this conversation is there's not a one fit for,
Yes.
for all. Every single person kind of figures it out. Like I can even speak for my own personal self. Yes, I am a podcaster, but at the same time, I did put myself back into school where I went to trade school so I can be in the automotive industry. You know, And yeah, I work with a brand that pays a lot of money, but I'm doing it because I have a passion for podcasting and I have a passion for
Exactly.
cars.
Just because you
You
have
know,
a passion for something does not mean that you don't need school. You can balance two things. I have a six-figure job. And I got that job because I have a doctorate. So it was very easy for me to walk into that six-figure job. But it doesn't mean that I still don't have a passion to write. It doesn't mean that I still don't have a passion to support authors. So I can do both. And I have been doing both. And yes, my bosses know that I'm doing both because I don't let my passion get in the way of my duties.
You know what? Something else people don't ever realize is when you are somebody that has a career that you love and
Yeah.
you're passionate about, okay, even though you have to go through education for and you have something on the side that you
Mm-hmm.
love doing too, when you tell people, people are
Yeah.
excited for you. They're like, they're like, oh wow, you do this as a profession and you
Yep.
do also this? Like,
Yep.
that's amazing. You know? What you got to remember is, and I would love for you to get more into this. Is like stop putting all of your eggs in one basket. You got to be able to realize that life is just not one basket. You got to organize. You got to figure out where you want to put different things because
It
life will
will.
throw things at you. It will throw hurdles at you, especially if you got family, if you got responsibilities. You got to be able to figure out how to make the balance work for you in the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not easy. I put
No.
in a lot of long hours, but it's easy to put in long hours when you're doing what you love. But now at the same time, there have been I have told people, and I think that this is something that a lot of people don't think about. But if you're doing something that you really truly love and enjoy and that relaxes you, for instance, maybe writing or maybe decorating or reading or whatever it is that you really enjoy doing,
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay to leave it as a habit or as a hobby, because when you turn it into a business, it transforms from something that you love doing to something that you have to do. And when you do that, you start to not enjoy it as much. So I tell people all the time, if you're really good at something, whether it's decorating glass, people who like decorate the wine glasses and make them all nice and pretty. I love those. Or the people who love,
I love
yes, I know, I
those.
love them. Or the people who
I
know how
love them.
to put a whole outfit together and style it. I love all of that. But if that's something that you enjoy and something that relaxes you, it's not going to relax you as much when you turn it into a business. So if this is something that you want to pursue, just really make sure that this is something that you really, really want to make into a business, that you really, really love. Because if it's a hobby, it's going to turn into a job. And if it turns into a job, it turns into something that you have to do. And then you may start to not love it as much. So ask yourself, really have a conversation with yourself before you try to turn your passion into a business.
You know, I have noticed this too. And there has been this attitude that has been existing, and I think it started after COVID, where things have gotten a lot more expensive, and it's been very hard for a lot of people to
Mm-hmm.
survive and live. There's become this level or notion of attitude of, well, how am I supposed to survive? Like how am I supposed to own a house and how am I supposed to get in a relationship and how am I supposed to have this and how am I supposed to have everything is like how am I supposed to why don't you ask yourself this question instead of about what you're supposed to have, why not figure out what works for you? Sometimes, and I had this conversation before, sometimes the environment that you're in is not the right environment for you. Sometimes going back to your home base might be better for you than keeping yourself stuck in a place that you don't want to be. You know, we get used to being comfortable, but just like it's a pain in the ass to move, sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta move. You gotta get into that storage unit, you gotta pack up your shit, but I don't have anybody to help you. You got two hands, you got two good legs, make it work.
I'm not. As somebody who's moved quite a few times, I hate that advice.
I've done it too. Trust me, I've done it too. It's hell. It's hell. Oh god, and you got to deal with the U-Haul charging you twenty
Yeah,
seven hundred dollars, and then when you're finished, they're like, "Well, it's gonna be 3,900." Why? Well, because you went over,
yeah,
100 miles, so we had to charge you 500. I'm like, you charging me $500 because I went over
yeah,
100 miles?
yep.
Damn! Kind of monopoly. You're in the wrong industry. We should be doing U-Haul. Make a killing. But like, it's true. It's comfort over quality. I think that's really what it boils down to. It's you could be comfortable from today until tomorrow, but are you going to have the best quality of life that you
Mm-hmm.
want? You got to balance those things out. How do you see that?
About comfort over quality?
Comfort over quality, especially busting your ass with all the writing and all the shit you got to deal with.
Well, I would say if I didn't have this business, I'd probably have a lot more money. But I really enjoy what I do, and I love the fact that I can do what I do, and I sit in the middle of my bed. I'm sitting on my bed right now. I'm sitting in the middle of my bed, enjoying writing, enjoying reading, and I love that that I can sit on my bed and read or write and pursue my passion. It's for me. It's relaxing. It's not relaxing when I have to meet a deadline though. But just to write, it's all good.
I told you this from the beginning of the episode. Like, I have two good friends of mine, and man, she's when they're hitting the deadline, and I'm like, honey, I'm gonna have to hang up because I can't. I don't have the brain cells for right now for this. Like, I'm gonna need like 6 cups of coffee just to deal with this shit. Like, I'm getting like 600 messages on my phone of like, is this okay? Is this all right? Like, we got 3 days. I'm like, why? Why did I get myself? And all I did was design the cover. Might I add? That's all I did. All I did was design the cover. But you know what though? It's kind of, it's kind of fun to be a part of the journey as well because
Mm-hmm.
even the deadlines can be fun because you're putting together the last pieces that you've been just pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into, and it's like you're almost at the finish
Yes.
line. Like it's you can feel it. It's like right there,
Yes.
so close. All right, let's get the elephant out of the room.
Okay, where's the elephant?
Have there been any writing projects? Have there been any writing projects that you have not published or you haven't wanted to push out?
Of my stuff?
Mm-hmm.
No. I have some. I have writing projects that are still in my head that I haven't taken the time to actually start writing, and I kick myself every day because I haven't taken the time to start writing them. But now there have been projects that I have published that started off as something else, and I started them over a few times because as I was reading them, I'm like, this is not where I wanted to go with this, or this is garbage. I hate this, and then I start over. But I had to be honest with myself and say that. But no, any book project that I've started, I've tried to finish it. I have finished it. I've probably published just about. Well, I take that back. I did have a book. I don't know why I even had the idea for that book. Not that you have me thinking back. I remember this book, and I started writing. I'm like, this is garbage, and I stopped. I don't think I got past like maybe the third chapter. I'm like, this is not where I wanted to go with this story, so I left it alone. But there have been other books, like I said, that I've started, and I wasn't happy with the direction that they were going in. I still believed in the story, but I had to start over because it just wasn't starting the way I wanted it to start. or maybe the ending wasn't the way I thought the ending should be. So I've redone the ending. I'm actually working on a book right now that I should be uploading hopefully in the next week or so. But this particular book, I knew where I wanted to go with it, and I put a lot of planning before I even started writing. The name of the book is Surprise Swipe Right, and it's about a 70-year-old lady whose daughter sneaks and puts her on a dating app because she wants her to get out there and start dating again. And I wanted it to be a romantic comedy, and I did a
This should be a
yeah,
TV
right.
show. I'm just
But
saying.
I
Yeah.
really thought the story would be fun, and I did a lot of planning beforehand. I knew exactly where I wanted the story to go. I developed my characters. I did a lot of outlining, and I did all of this before I even started writing, and it helped me so much. So even when I started writing, I would still go back, and I used AI to help me. Now, I want to be careful when I say that because some people are going to say, "Oh, AI wrote the book for you." No, I will never let AI write a book for me. But what I did do was I used AI for brainstorming. I used AI for planning. I used AI for kind of critiquing the book as I went along, or we're brainstorming how I wanted the chapter to go. So I say, okay, in chapter 13, I want this, 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 and this to happen, and I typed it up, and it gave me kind of a it kind of wrote out what it thought that I where it thought I might want to go with it. And I read that and I said, "Oh, that's garbage." But good ideas though. And I'll take some of the ideas and I'll write it myself. But no, I tried because everybody was talking about AI writing a book for you. So I said, you know what? I'm an author. I'm busy. Let me let AI write a book for me. And it wrote, and I was like, this is horrible. I don't even write like this. Nobody's going to believe this is mine. So I like I said, I took it and I used it as a guideline, and I wrote my own stuff. And I loved the way it turned out, but it also helped me to write a lot faster because I was using it to think and brainstorm. I didn't have writer's block with this particular story. And this is the first time I never had writer's block with the story, and that's because I was using an AI writing assistant. And this is how I like to teach my clients to use AI. Don't let AI write it for you because it's going to give you an outline. It's not going to give it any heart. It's not going to have any soul. It's going to strip you totally from the story. Even if you try to train it to write like you, it's going to strip you from the story. But if you use it as an assistant, and let it brainstorm for you. Maybe even let it spit out a couple of chapters or a couple of paragraphs just to get you thinking on the right track. But you are still putting your heart into it. You are still putting your talent into it, or your ideas into it, giving it that human touch. It's still your work, and I don't want you to be afraid of getting assistance to put out your best quality work.
Yeah, I think what gets lost in the weeds a lot of the times is AI can be a very powerful tool in the sense that it can allow writers that can have difficulty, for example, being able to write paragraphs correctly, being able to have that flow like you mentioned, but it's not there to write your story. You have to still be able to be the one that puts in the input and the work. You know, I just little old me that likes to do artsy fartsy stuff. I've started writing a book. I About 4 years ago. I'm still writing it. I'm very very slow. Like I write one chapter a year. Like that's my thing. And it was critiquing my writing and basically stating like you don't explain your characters enough, and I'm like, I don't want to explain my characters enough. It's a first person narrative book. It's like one chapter's about one person and that's it. We're done. We move on to the next person. And to each their own, right? Like you have your own style of where how you want to portray your
Right.
characters, your story progression from start to finish. Like it's
It's
not
not
cookie
it's
cutter.
not cookie
It's
cutter,
like
and unfortunately, if you solely depend on AI to write your stuff, it is going to seem cookie cutter. But I mean, I use an AI platform to critique, and I used it as I went along. Whenever I got to a certain amount, I would feed it in there and ask it to critique it for me. And there were some areas where it was giving me suggested rewrites, and I'm like, no, my characters don't talk like that. I don't want. I'm not. You gave me some good critiques, and I'm going to take those critiques. But I am not rewriting something that my character said, and take a suggestion from AI to rewrite it, um, because my character doesn't talk like that. I know my character is better than the computer does. So there are some places when it talked about stronger story arcs or repeated information, it found some places where I had a typo. I'm taking all of that and making my book better. But I'm not going to take the heart of what a character said and turn it into something that sounds robotic just because AI told me.
You know, I think also what a lot of times people forget, some of the books that are the most memorable to us, or the things that we've attached ourselves, that meant
Right.
something in our lives. They're not written as if like the person that wrote them was like Aristotle, you know? Like they're not written like Odyssey. They're written from the words and the mind of the person that are putting the words on the page. And this is something that I told my friend yesterday, where one of the things that she struggles with tremendously is constantly rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. Well, I don't like how this sentence flows. I'm like, leave it. It's okay. It doesn't have. You don't have to have every single fucking paragraph be perfect. Sometimes having a little bit of chaos and a little bit of inconsistencies. And again, obviously, like you got to make sure your grammar
Right.
is okay. Because if you're spelling the THOYHRJ, like nah, that's not how you spell the word the. But there needs to be a level of
Right.
humanity in there. I think that if you venture out to perfection, perfection is not humanity. Human beings are not. We're not
Hmm.
perfect creatures. We are imperfect creatures, and sometimes venturing out to a little bit of imperfection is what, like, it's like that cherry on top of that milkshake. Yeah, always leave that for the last. Come on, always. But yeah, I think that's um, I think that's something that really, again, like, obviously, you've talked about this, like in regards to using technology and using AI, but I think a lot of the times, like you even pointed it out, which again is really true. It's like you can't expect everybody to do the work for. Should I say that again? You should not expect other people or other things to do
Right.
the work for you. If you want to be even a successful musician, it's like you can use AI beats, but like I love those tick. This is my favorite. The TikTok ads where you have that person just crying and they're hearing their voice being done by AI, and you're just like, "Yeah, but you didn't sing it. Yeah, but it's my voice. Yeah, but you didn't sing it. You didn't put any of the work or the effort to be
Well,
able
I
to do
mean,
that song."
I have to look more into it, but there was an article recently about somebody whose song made the top 10, and it was AI. The person did the work. They put their thoughts into it. They I guess they wrote the song, but they fed it into AI, and AI actually performed the song, and it sounded really good, and it wound up making a top 10. And people were wondering if that was going to change the way of the music industry. I mean, I feel like she still put the work in. It may not have been her singing, but she did put the work in.
Yeah, I mean that is so that's something that's totally different. I mean, remember also something that we forget in the past, there was something that was called ghostwriters. There were people that were
I'm a
writing
ghostwriter.
books, and yeah, and it's kind of gotten like lost. It's like, hey, there are people that are capable. They have really incredible stories, right? But sometimes they don't have the skill or the effort or the ability to get those words on the page. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a ghostwriter. I think it's kind of an amazing thing where, again, like we said earlier, it's that form of
Right.
collaboration. It's just because somebody doesn't have those tools to do that doesn't mean that they can't venture out and do that.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, it's all about putting your work in. I mean, I think the moral to this entire conversation is to not let AI do the work for you. You know, you still need to put in the blood, sweat, and tears for your book, your music, or whatever it is. You still got to put that in, or else the quality of something that you are attaching your name to goes down. And in the end, if you are attaching your name to something that's computer generated, that has none of your heart and soul in it, that that is actually really degrading your brand. It's not increasing your brand.
No. And I think also, in, I'd love for you if you want to touch more base on this. When you're developing your own brand, it's not about social media clout. It's not about making the million, having the million likes and like having millions of books sold. It's being able to have that presence. It's where a person can see your representation, your brand, and sees you within it. Not something that is completely fabricated and completely made up.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's really just about you. Yes, you can let the computers do everything for you, but is that what does that say about you? What does that say when somebody says, "I want to work with you," and you're not able to do what you've attached your name to? You're not able to perform, and that's the big part about it. I think AI is here to stay. I think about it this
Ain't going nowhere.
I think about it the same as calculators. You know, when back in the day, people hated calculators and they thought that that was going to degrade kids' math skills, and it didn't. Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but I know how to do basic math. It didn't take away my ability to do basic math. The internet. People thought that research people wouldn't research anymore because the internet came along. I mean, there's always been some type
Yeah.
of technology that has entered our lives that people were afraid of. I mean, at one time, if you
Yeah.
really want to
I
go
mean,
back in the day, the philosophers thought that writing words down would degrade people's memories. People wouldn't. It would make people lazy because they wouldn't bother to memorize anymore, or so their thinking skills would go down. So they thought the written
yeah.
word was a terrible thing. So there's always some type of
Yeah.
technology that's going to come around that people are going to be afraid of until they learn how to use it. And when you learn how to work with it and not work against it, it actually makes you more marketable. I've been telling that to my employees for the past couple months that you're not going to lose your jobs to AI, but you could lose your job to somebody who knows how to use AI. So keep putting all of these tools into your toolbox and make yourself more marketable and make yourself more useful. I mean, even if you don't go to another job, you make yourself more useful on the job, you may wind up creating a whole new position for yourself that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah. 100% agree with you. And I mean, even in the industry that I'm in, it's one of the things right now where the automotive industry is suffering because a lot of technicians they refuse to accept technology, and it is the future. Whether you know, I love this by the way because you have those like, oh, I got to use a computer and plug in the car, and I'm just like, do you understand that people 40 years ago they would kill to have this, to be able to they're able to talk with a piece of metal, to be able to have that open line of communication. The same thing even with writing and even, for example, for musicians across the charts. Do you know how many of these musicians, these writers, these journalists across the charts would have killed to have this technology 40 years ago? You know how much better they could have utilized their own
Mm-hmm.
time and their
Mm-hmm.
efforts. And now we have it. Now, what do? We complain. We complain. We call it cheating. You're not putting in enough work, right? We got all these wonderful excuses, but it's like it's a tool. It's helping you be the best version that you can in the passions that you're trying to
Absolutely.
pursue. It's how you're using them. Yeah. Um, we've
It
had a very
was
deep
deep.
conversation.
And like I don't even know if we actually really like did a whole intro. We just jumped right in there.
Girl, we went right in there. No strings attached. Um, you do a lot of different things. I know you do writing. You've mentioned you've done also other things. Do you want to give a little bit of a rundown, the work that you do, the things that you offer, and where these
Sure,
people can find you?
absolutely.
Like, because it's always the number one complaint.
Absolutely.
Where can I find you?
Well, first of all, the name of my company is Meet the World Image Solutions. It's a publicity and literary services company. We specialize in supporting authors, small business owners, and nonprofits. And I would actually say artists because I've also worked with comedians as well, and even
Yeah,
some musicians. So it's all about supporting them in what they're doing. So on the literary side, I do ghostwriting, editing. I do book consultancy, and of course I write my own books. And I also teach writers courses, and I mentioned a little earlier I have a school environment, a school class that I just started, that includes helping people to become better writers. So there's going to be writing tips in it. And we'll also have access to all of my writers' resources. I have a whole resource center on Beacons, with worksheets and checklists, anything that you need that's going to help you in your writing journey, you can find it in there. I also have some of my courses in there. But if you join my writers community, you get access to all of this for free. Well, for the $10 a month it costs to be in the writers community. Um, so I invite your listeners to be a part of this because you're going to get so much out of it, and it's only $10 a month, and so you really can't beat that.
yeah,
On the publicity
yeah.
side, I do press releases, I do media kits and one sheets, and then I also have my podcast, the Horizons Author Lounge, which I air each Monday night at 7 p.m. It's live on Instagram, well, not Instagram anymore. It's live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So we interview authors, two authors every week, and it's all about just talking about the industry and talking about their books, highlighting their books, and highlighting these authors, because I want to be able to provide a platform for up and coming authors to share their work. And being on the show is absolutely free, but I also have different levels where maybe you want to not just be on the show, but maybe you want a press release. Maybe you want a media kit, or maybe even want to be pitched to media. I also have different levels for that as well. So I really, like I said earlier in the show, I really love what I do. I love being able to support authors, and I love being able to offer these services to not just authors, but small business owners, other artists as well, nonprofits, because we all need a help up. We all need somebody who's going to support us along the way, and not just support us and tell us that we're
Yeah.
doing well and become yes people, but also to be able to help you to become better at what it is that you do, and that's what I'm all about. So my website is www.mtwimagesolutions.com. You can find me on TikTok at Dr. Rhonda L. And you can find me on Instagram at Meet the World Image Solutions. And you can also find me on YouTube at Meet the World Image Solutions. So I invite you guys to follow me, and collaborate with me, chat with me. Just say hey if you want to. But this is what I'm all about. So when you go to any of my channels, you'll find writing tips, you'll find author interviews, you'll find author motivation. This is what I do, and this is the way I want to be able to pour back into this industry.
I think honestly, like we said from the very beginning of this episode, it comes down to you don't have to do
Yes.
everything by yourself. Sometimes there are support systems that are out there that are there to help. You have people such as yourself that are passionate about this, that do want to make a difference, regardless of what size. So, again, I really appreciate you taking the time, coming out here, having this very deep conversation, boiling it down to the writing and the passions and the pursuit. Because, hell, if you're on this journey, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a rough one. It might be rough, it might be fun, it might be wild, it might be a mixture of a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
But I'm gonna make sure I will leave all of your links below, and obviously I'll give you a plug on the socials once we get this episode out
Thank
for your
you.
podcast. And if anybody wants to check out more of the podcasts, you can find us at Boston Pod. We are on Rumble and we are on Substack. So, that fun. Catch you, motherfuckers. Hey, peace out.